Hello, family, and welcome to another episode of Role Model Makers Experts Cafe. I'm your host, Dr. L, the Parent Whisperer. And today with me, I have an amazing human being, Mr. Philip Mach. I said that correctly, right? I just wanted to make sure. Awesome.
Yes, you did.
So one of the things that I wanted to mention or bring to you guys is how Philip shows up in the world and what he's doing for the family community. So, Philip, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here and explain what you do and how you got here. Can you tell a little bit about your story and how it relates to what you currently do?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. So I had a very interesting journey. I started out as a physician, and I practiced pulmonary and internal medicine and sleep medicine for 20 years. And then something happened. I had some health challenges, and my life became unmanageable, and I lost everything, and I had to kind of rebuild things, and medication wasn't working, and the present healthcare system wasn't helping me. And so I've always had an interest in alternative healthcare, and so I did a lot of research, and I was able to heal myself using functional medicine, alternative lifestyle. And so I went ahead and um, got my certification in functional medicine, and I've been able to heal my illnesses, which were ADHD, depression, and also IBS. And so through nature lifestyle changes, as well as uh, targeted supplements and nutrition, I was able to heal myself, and also just incorporating the whole principles of functional medicine, which looks at the whole person, looks at the individual, and also, you know, it's a whole body situation where you look at purpose and mind, and you're looking all into different types of things. So it's not all about food and nutrition. It's all about all the other things, your environment, try to control inflammation. So those are the things that we focus on sleep. And so those are the principles of lifestyle, and I'm a better person for it. Relationships and other types of things as well. And my life has totally changed.
Well, actually, you mentioned something that's really important because for when people talk about healthy lifestyle, they're assuming, unappetizing foods and, hours at the gym and not fun parts, but they don't realize how it actually translates into everyday life and your performance and your source of satisfaction with life as a whole, and your ability to set goals and actually reach out for the stars. So one of the things that you've mentioned is literally the culmination of putting all of those things together and seeing what's actually possible, and not just to deal with symptoms, basically. So it's a story of hope, and it's very positive. So I love that approach, as opposed to, all right, let's see what we got to do, and here's a checklist of things that you got to
Right.
get on the way.
Exactly.
So that's
And
really
right. And the presence, one of the reasons why one of my missions, and it's my passion now, to help moms and parents to overcome their health challenges with respect to brain fog and low energy and metabolic disturbances and digestive issues. And it's really a whole approach to that. And so, help being involved with the role model program and family program has really been something that I've been able to um, be with, and I'm certainly blessed to be able to have that opportunity to help more parents and moms and women entrepreneurs out there.
absolutely. And that's another good point. That's oftentimes we say, all right, you know what, I'm going to survive and I'm going to give everything to my kids so they can have the best life. But inadvertently in the process, we're setting an example that you come second, you got to sacrifice. And how many of us want that for our kids? We want them to have a model, a working model of how to balance life and how to have everything that you want and still be a parent, as opposed to give up your life so that your parent can, so that your child can thrive, basically. So they have to have a model of thrive. So I appreciate you mentioning that. All right. So if it was simple, everybody was doing it, right? So this is something that requires a little bit of uncommon thinking. So what is the common pitfalls for parents and for people who are struggling with their health? And what are ways that they need to start looking at it differently?
Well, I think number one is certainly being aware of their health, and I feel that the medicine of the future is being aware of what your symptoms are and how you can tune into that particular aspect. So, but it really just involves total daily care. I mean, regulating your circadian rhythm, having some regularity with your sleep, and really focusing and making sure you get good sleep, working on energy levels, and really the focus on the right kind of food, because food is information. It can actually change your genetics, and so really the power is really in what you put at the end of your fork, and it's really not what your body can what you eat. It's really what your body can assimilate. And so we look at a whole body system approach, and also a functional. We look at the root causes, and sometimes it's more than one. The main root causes are inflammation, digestion, and inflammation. And so those are the things that we look at. And so it's really just a whole approach to everyday health. You got to move. You got to have good relationships. You have to have purpose. You have to have mindfulness. You have to have good nutrition. You have to have good hydration. And be conscious and aware of your environmental toxins. Be conscious of the effects of artificial light and sunlight, and the power of these things. And then appropriate supplementation. So it's really not just one thing. There are certain things that we can do in order to improve our lives, and it's really something that we work out on a daily basis. It's not something that's going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
So I think that the point is that we need to be aware of our health on a daily basis. We need to track what we're doing, and we can track what we drink and what we eat, and see how we feel. And then, if for some reason we kind of go off the deep end and something happens and we don't get a good night's sleep,
Right.
then I guess that, we can at least explain things as to what's going on and put us back on track. At the present time, there's a lot of technology out. There's a lot of wearables that we're talking about, as far as, such as an Aura Ring or a Fitbit, and these things are measuring, heart rate and heart rate variability and sleep staging, and more, we're going to have more technology where, instead of going to your doctor and, getting a well visit, you're going to be able to track different things, and you're going to get a whole different type of thing, where we can actually track and, screen for cancers, and screen for different types of metabolic processes. And now they have, continuous glucose monitors out that can actually, look at your blood sugar. So the three things we look at: we want to, maintain blood sugar. We want to, look at what your bowel movements are like, and your sleep. Those are the three things that we try to focus on.
Right. I love the fact that you have this holistic approach, and also it's a dynamic approach. It's not a static approach like a lab result that shows you at this hour, at this time, this is what your body look like. Although that's
Right.
valuable, it is much better to know, like you said, your rhythms, and know where you are in relation to the environment around you and how you're performing in relation to your life and your lifestyle. Now,
Absolutely.
one thing you did mention, and I want to emphasize this because this is a huge problem in modern society. You talked about continuous blood sugar monitoring. And of course, sleep is important. I often talk about it from the brain-based approach that, sleep is, if not the most important, is the second most important thing for your health. So can you elaborate a little bit more about where to start with some of these? And when they say blood sugar, it's not that you're constantly supposed to have candy to maintain your blood sugar, right?
Right. So, I mean, obviously sugar is a toxin, and it can affect, it can cause a nutrient deficiency. And so, sugar can be so people, a lot of people who have chronic disease or chronic illnesses, they go on some kind of an elimination diet where they eliminate sugar and they eliminate, gluten and eliminate processed foods. And that can certainly help them with, the way that they function. They get more energy, and then they're not losing nutrients. People who consume a lot of sugar, they have a tendency to lose things like magnesium and some other types of other types of nutrients.
Right.
So that's one thing. The continuous glucose monitors are now being more available as far as to the general public because, and it's amazing. I was listening to something this morning where people actually react differently, and there comes the bio-individuality aspect. Like you can react, you can have a high blood sugar spike to a cookie, or you can have a high blood sugar spike to a banana, and not everybody's going to respond the same. So these monitors that we now have, I mean, they're individually, and they also, you can tell, and sometimes you have surprising information that you can obtain with these continuous glucose monitors that are wearables. Does that kind of answer your question?
Definitely. That was a really good answer. Of course, whenever you answer something, there's more questions, but of course, I'm going to ask people to reach out to you for that. But there's two other things you mentioned. The first one was the stool and the other one was rest. So tell us a little bit more about those and why those are important as well.
So it's really important to have good bowel movements. We encourage people to have not more than one a day, but usually like 2 or 3 a day. And it's important to look at the stool and kind of track things because a lot of times we do what's called a food, mood, poop journal. And so it's what you eat, it's how you're feeling, and then what's actually in the bowl. So that, for example, if you have a problem with digestion, you may have constipation. Or you may have, loose bowels or diarrhea. So you may have a hidden food intolerance to certain things that may come out. And so I think that's something to be aware of. Or you may have some sort of what we call leaky gut, which is inflammation in the gut. And you may be more prone to developing things like autoimmune diseases where the body's attacking itself. So these are things that can be created by food and sensitivities. And, they may not show up for like 5 or 6 or 7 years. But so it's important to look at what you have in the bowl to see, what your stools are like, to make sure it's regular, to make sure that you're drinking enough water. That would also help things. And also that you have enough fiber in your diet, because that's going to also impact the stool. And yeah, so and as far as sleep, sleep is very important. You want to get I talk a lot about circadian rhythm, where you set yourself up so that you're seeing the sun the first thing in the morning, and in the evening you want to block some of the artificial light because that can affect our hormone levels, such as melatonin, and so sleep is really important. Melatonin production. And melatonin is one of those hormones that is a very powerful antioxidant. It's one of the only antioxidants that actually penetrates the mitochondria and helps to regulate oxidative stress. And so what happens is when we're stressed and we don't sleep well, our cortisol level tends to go higher and the melatonin level tends to go lower.
And cortisol is for stress. I just want to make sure
cortisol is your stress hormone, right? And when we're stressed out and we have bad stress, then the cortisol levels are higher and it affects the melatonin levels. And also the artificial light can also affect melatonin levels. So these two things can affect your overall sleep. And the other thing is, I'm not saying all stress is bad, because there's good stressors, and we call that hormesis. And good stressors would be things like you can do exercise as a stressor, which is good. Food is a stressor, which is a good stress. There are things such as where you go in a sauna, that's good stress. Cold temperatures are good stressors. So not all stress is bad. So that's kind of where I wanted to go on that.
It's like a good debt and bad debt, not all.
Yeah, right.
Created equal, right? So I'm glad that you're explaining these, but I know that there's a ton more to this. And
Right.
To have somebody guide you through all of this and show you how they all connect is really important. So, Phil, how can people learn more about you and connect with you and find out what you do?
Well, I guess you can go through my website at livefunctionally.com, and I have a lot of good information there. You can set up a discovery call with me. You can also get a copy of my free ebook, 10 Tips to Improve Brain Fog. And also you can look at my blog post, which I have every week or so about different topics. In addition, I also have a copy of some of the recordings that I've done with Family Circle. And so you can access some of those talks as well. And so that's a way to get me.
Absolutely. And for those of you who are watching, Family Circle is a community of experts that we have that specifically serve families. So if you're getting information from us, or if you're in Role Model Maker, you will get notifications of all the wonderful stuff that our experts are producing together and presenting to you guys. So stay tuned for that. Phil, I really appreciate the time. I know that it has been a challenge to get all of our schedules together and everything. So I'm really happy that we were finally able to make this happen. Any final words for our audience members before we finish today?
Yes, absolutely. I'm so grateful to be here and so grateful to have this opportunity to talk to you. I'd say, focus on your sleep. Sleep is real important. You want to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And when you wake up, you want to get that first bit of sun. When you wake up, that's so important to get 20 minutes of sunlight within the first hour of waking up. And so that sleep wake regularity is so important. And then just be careful and cautious of the food that you're eating, and try to eat good, wholesome food, because the processed type of foods are going to affect you negatively. And the other thing is that just watch your intake of sugars and other types of things such as that, which can definitely affect your overall health.
Absolutely. Well said. So guys, very, very important. Raising a family is not a 1 or 2 person job. They say it takes a village. We've found out that it actually takes even larger than a village. It takes the whole world basically to support families. So make sure that you teach your children, you role model the behavior, that it's okay not to have all the answers, and that it's important for us to reach out for help and for answers and for solutions, and seek experts in various fields, basically. So if you haven't already done so, make sure that you click subscribe and stay connected with us on the latest experts that we have on this channel. Also, make sure that you look at Phil's information that I'm going to put in the description box, so you can go ahead and connect with him and benefit from the wealth of information and knowledge that he has. And we look forward to seeing you guys on all of our future events. Thanks, Phil, again.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye-bye now. Thanks.